Got another quick clip for you guys today, and this time we're going to be taking a look at the spotted python, Anateresia maculosa. But before we get started on this animal, I just want to go back to yesterday's video, which was of the hognose snake, the western hognose snake. So a couple things I mentioned in that video were that I thought it made a great star snake because of its size, because of its ease of care, and basically this snake is going to follow along those same lines. So spotted pythons get just about the size of I would say a big male ball python. You know, sometimes they could get a little bit longer. If you look online, it'll say that large specimens could reach between 4 and 5 feet, but these guys will never get as heavily bodied as a ball python. Typically these guys will get about that thick if you got a big female. Now, one of the things about these guys is that when they are babies, they're a little bit snappy, as you will see here in a second. This one's actually being pretty good pretty good right now, up until then, I guess. So I've actually worked with quite a few of these. I've sold quite a few of these to people, and most of the times I'll sell these to people as their first snakes. So typically, just like the hognose, this would be an outside of the box starter snake. You know, typically here in North America, you don't see spotted pythons being sold as people's first snakes usually, which I find kind of weird because even though they are a little bit snappier when they're younger than ball pythons, in my opinion, they have great characters. So the other day I posted a video about my favorite 5 ball pythons, and I stated that the reason why some of these animals were on my favorite list is because I thought that they were good snakes. And to me, a good snake is a snake that almost always eats. You know, it never just goes off food. Relatively easy to handle. And yeah, to me, a good snake is basically an animal that's just super easy to take care of. An animal that doesn't really encounter too many problems. So in my experience, these guys are pretty much bulletproof. Usually all they require is a heat pad. You could give them a basking spot that could be quite a bit hotter. Like you could go with a heat lamp if you want. And actually, for myself personally, I really don't like using heat lamps for snakes. That'll probably be like a reptile talk video pretty soon. Why I dislike heat lamps for heating snakes. But take a little look at this guy here. So kind of got carried away, kind of got distracted. Sometimes when, you know, snakes are trying to bite you, you'll lose your train of thought. But basically these guys, they stay pretty small. A female could probably live in a 20-gallon tank for quite a while. If you end up getting a huge female, then you probably want to go with something like a 25 long or a 30-gallon. You could even use a 40-gallon. What I do find with these guys is they tend to move a lot more than ball pythons. Not just in your hand, but also in the cage. So they do definitely benefit from bigger cages. So you basically keep these animals almost exactly like you would a ball python, except these guys, they almost never encounter shedding issues. At least that's been in my experience. Whereas a ball python, you know, if you're not spraying your ball python once its eyes go blue every couple of days until it sheds, typically your animal will have a bad shed. I've never really had a spotted python that had a bad shed. And these guys are just monsters when it comes to feeding. This animal that you're looking at right here is eating fuzzy mice. And yeah, it doesn't have a problem at all taking those down. And honestly, she's probably ready for hoppers pretty soon. And to be honest with you, like, this is probably one of the smaller ones I've ever worked with. Because we don't breed them, we do buy them and then resell. But this one and her sister are probably the only 2 mean spotteds I've ever worked with. Besides that, I've usually gotten them in when they're this size, and typically at around this size they tend to tame down. This girl and her sister were about like half this size when they came in, and obviously the staff, they didn't really want to handle them too much because they're like little pogo sticks. They just fly at you and give you really all they got when they're young. But yeah, very easy to take care of. I know that, you know, you guys seeing it strike out in this video might put you off getting a spotted python, but really this is something that happens with almost all young snakes, baby corn snakes, whatever. They're just a lot more defensive when they're young. But once they get to adult size, they're really tame, really easy to handle. But again, one of the things I find cool about them is they're a lot more active than a ball python. I don't find they hide nearly as much as ball pythons, where if you're keeping a ball python in a glass terrarium, it'll typically hide all the time underneath the hide box. These guys will actually come out during the day. They'll stroll around, probably because they have just crazy appetite, so they're always looking for something to eat. It's definitely pretty easy to overfeed these guys. But really cool snake if you're looking at different options. You know, you want a starter snake, but you don't want to get a colubrid. You like maybe the look of pythons a lot better because they have those like dragon heads, those very like triangular shaped heads. So definitely a cool option. They come in a lot of different morphs and colors too. Unfortunately, I don't think there's many people working with these morphs or colors in North America. They're all still in Australia. So, and even if they are up here in North America, I could imagine just the prices they must go for. But very cool snake. This and also the children's python make very good starter snakes. They're snappy when they're young, kind of like a baby carpet python, but they grow out of it once they're around, you know, 6 months to a year old. They'll tame down. You can see even this animal right now, tamed down quite a bit. Still looking a little bit defensive, but not too interested in biting right now. So hope you guys enjoyed this video of the spotted python. Hopefully you'll take them into consideration when getting your next snake, because to me, their size, their personality makes them really interesting and cool animals to keep. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Please like Safari Reptiles on Facebook and subscribe if you haven't already. Take care guys. Bye.